Hey folks, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we are back with Late Age Ulm in Bozmos. Yeah, let's see what happens. We got a bunch of gems from Middle Age TNG. I had done a bunch of trades with him. This player actually subbed into the game, so many thanks, Awesome One, for subbing in. And upon arriving, he decided that he needed various boosters, and so this is for... You know, I think he kind of cheated me a bit. I think he's supposed to owe me 5 more gems. It's supposed to be... Oh, no, this is fine. This is fine. Yeah, it was... I'm doing a bonus... I'm giving him a crystal coin and a starshine skullcap, and I'm charging him only 5 gems, which is really cheap for a booster in terms of profit. That's kind of, my rates in this game are, for most players, it's 10 gems for a booster, and then I'll make it for them. For normal items, it's only 1 gem. And then if they're in like a coalition with me or otherwise being very cool, like subbing in, I'll do it for cheaper, like 5. And then if they're a superpower, I probably won't forge them boosters. So anyway, that's happening. We got some gems from Alkera. This was for a crystal matrix, which I think I've got these. I had sent those things out last turn, actually. You probably didn't see it because I did it, I think, in the wee hours of the morning. Yeah, Crystal Matrix going out to Alkera. The other stuff went out earlier. We cast Reaping of Souls, which I thought this was a DE spell, but it's actually not. It's actually a Bozmos spell, as I found out today. And I think it's completely broken. Like, I think it's... Like, you get so much money. You get more, I think, than... like, let's compare these two. You get more from Reaping of the Souls... I don't even really remember where it is. I think it's pretty low. Maybe it was Thaumaturgy, Conjuration. Yeah, Conjuration 4. It's only two pearls, which is really cheap, and you can get, you know, a lot. Like with 100 corpses, you get 5. It well pays for itself. And then with 400, you get 10. I mean, you can get just a ton. So if we compare that to Raven Feast, which I always forget, here, this is 3. It's more expensive. Anyway, this is great. If only we had more Death Astral Mages, which, you know, we could kind of get. And it's actually worth thinking about getting more of them just for this spell. With the Skull Staff and a Starshine Skullcap, any one of my astral death mages can get it. So I might start trying to get more of them up here. And slow down a little bit on the wolf production. The other thing is we had graphs released for army size this turn. And my army size is going pretty darn good. Most of this is wolves. But we have a lot of good quality troops mixed in here too, but it's mostly wolves. Most importantly, though, is Calum was #1 in army by a lot, by like a huge lot. And anyway, his army graph is going like this, and then it's coming down. And I have more troops than Calum does right now. But that's not why you're here. You're not here for the graphs. You were here for the battles. And we YOLO'd in. Now, I know Calum has dudes with great swords of sharpness and stuff, so I was pretty cautious. But... they're not present in this army. They're out and about, ready to deal with thugs from Kailasa. And we have this guy with the biggest shit-eating grin you have ever seen. Look at that shit-eating grin. Ah, you thought you were going to storm this fort. You thought you were going to summon air elementals. And they did summon a shit ton of air elementals. All these guys, all the Harab Seraphs had like 5 or 6 gems, and there's a lot of them. Some of the Earth Mages had Earth gems. I think I forget what they can summon with Earth gems. I think it's like these ghosts, these spirits, which we'll see in a second. I think it's these things. A Spectral Calum, summon air elementals, summon air elementals. Look at all these air elementals. Ghost wolves, a lot of ghost wolves. Here's the thing, guys. I was planning on him having advancing cast spells. In this case, it wouldn't have really mattered much. He could maybe have done Shatter. Shatter's kind of high level. So Earth 2, I don't think can do Shatter. But that's something I needed to think about. The Shatter is probably one of the things that could kind of wreck me. We need to look that up afterwards. Also, Thug with Great Swords of Sharpness. But back over here in the Shit-Eating Grin territory... Look at this guy. Caleb spent about 60 air gems on this fight. Or 60 gems in total. Maybe more. Maybe a good deal more. And it's actually kind of funny. He posted in the game thread after this. He's like, well, I discovered Ulm's god. I'm like, no, motherfucker, this ain't my god. This is just like a 20 gem summon. I've got less gems on this than he spent on this whole battle. And these guys just aren't doing anything. They're not even getting remotely close to the 12 damage per turn they would need. He's also not casting much useful. He would do Nether Darts and like useful things, but he's not. Soul Vortex, obviously what we would want to put on him too, but that's not happening. So, yeah. We'll speed through this. You can see the amount of chaff that's generated is just going to increase. Eventually, this panic spam is going to rout some of the birds. And yeah, Caleb's just going crazy back here. And I don't know whether we can sit through this whole thing, because we're only on turn... Well, we might be able to. It's turn 61. We're getting close. I think they route at turn 110. Yeah, okay, the birds... A lot of the birds just route, so then a bunch of these spirit birds run in. They do even less damage. This is what gives Caleb, like, freaking anxiety. And this is the thing, like, when you... This is what having a little bit of experience in the game means, is that, like, you don't have to figure a lot of stuff out for the first time. Like, you know when you fight Caleb, what Caleb armies look like. You know it's going to be a shit ton of birds with a shit ton of air elementals, and it's going to be super annoying to fight. Right? But you also know what gives birds, like, goddamn panic attacks. And it's shit like this. There's a bunch of ways to do it, but you need to be size 6 and you need shock resistance and reasonably high protection and usually a way to deal with chip damage. And once we get Alteration 6, I can put these guys out pretty trivially, and I can put them out with Soul Vortex. Because for this to work, I actually needed this artifact here, this keystone. But I won't actually need that once I have Soul Vortex. It'll still be nice. Now, one thing I was really worried about, I was like watching with bated breath, is once the guys ran, would all this free spawn disappear before the battle was over? And it just barely did. I forget what turn it goes to. Maybe it's like turn 45. I don't remember. There's some turn where just like everybody pops and goes away, and I would lose that artifact. So as it stands, we killed 10 dudes, but we baited. I want to watch it again just to see. We're not going to watch it, but I just want to show you. We're going to do a gem count real quick. The best way I have found to do gem counts is you hit F1 and then you hit C, which will filter the list for just the commanders. None of these guys, the area seraphs, have any gems that maybe like 1 or 2 of them did. The Eagle Kings had 3, 6, 7, 8. They had 8 gems on the Eagle Kings. And then on these guys, they had 6, 6, 6, 6. I think they just about all have 6. And one second. We'll count them up, how many there were at the end of combat, and multiply it by 6. Okay, that guy didn't have 1. That guy didn't have 1. So there are 3 guys that didn't. And if we look at the battle report, there's 17. So he had 14 times 6. 14 times 6. Okay, so that's 84, and plus 8 is 92. So yeah, almost 100 gems of stuff he lost. And this is, like, a lot of times the answer for Caleb, like, if you're fighting an army like Ulm, we would probably just wreck his shit with a conventional fight. But they will deal with that by summoning air elementals. And air elementals in sufficient quantity murder everything. Not true. But just most things is the right way to say it. In sufficient quantity, air elementals murder most things. And this is the problem, though, with it, is you get gem baited. And air, like, to get sufficient quantity of air elementals is really scary. Like, you need a lot of gems, and then you're really worried about a gem bait. We had a few other things. We had Gondwana breaking out of their capital. I wanted these wolves to be here because their job is to patrol, but it's a little sad because they're all going to die. Gondwana is a cool-ass nation. They would be a lot of fun to play. I like the sacreds they get. I like this guy. He can be just super cool later. Yeah, I like this guy. Yoink. They do have a monolith where they're going to have to chew through. That was one of the reasons I wanted to raid without my full army, was I didn't want to have my full army march unprepared into a monolith. Hope he doesn't have gifts of heaven. That would be horrible. He's got Fate Weaving on the Blessed too, so I can't Magic Duel it. That means he's pretty high astral. I might be able to Soul Slay it. But it's time we think about that. We got hit with some poison stuff. We lost a fair amount of troops here, actually. We lost all of our wolves and then 11 more Zweihanders. We actually don't have many Zweihanders left. Oh no, our Hawkmeister died. I think this was our really experienced dude. How did he die? Oh my god, he got sniped by a... Jesus Christ. What kind of damage roll did he get? Damage roll of 20? Oh no, it's a damage of 20. Jesus. Okay. He had a roll of 10, and then I didn't roll much. Okay, so I guess if I failed that... This was from Holy Avenger. I don't even know how he got targeted by that. Like, maybe he was doing Holy Word or something? Anyway, that sucks. He was a really good leader. What are we going to do, though? What are we going to do? I don't think this guy would kill the monolith. There's going to be a bunch of gems on it. The AI is pretty good about putting gems on the monolith. We'll probably spam like maggots or something at me. I don't know. I think the best thing for the monolith is probably just going to be sending these dudes in, because they'll kill it really fast. Get Strength of Giants on them, have them march in. I need to... So I've talked to... Well, we've got a few more things. We'll come back and talk about this later. We have Atlantis attacking predictably right here, which where I thought he would move, and I just have one PD here, because we probably would have actually killed this army if we stayed, but I didn't know what was in it, and I want to be careful. So it's a Basalt King, who are huge badasses. He's got a Waterland... He's basically set up to be a mage, rather than a Basalt King, like a super combatant, which is one of the things I wasn't sure about. And, yeah, boatload of water gems. So anyway, they're going to kill this one PD. But anyway, that's what's in that group. The Province of Infinite Sea, he didn't even bother putting any PD in, so we've taken that. There was a battle in Talwyn. Which, by the way, anytime I see something like this, it means this player's like not paying very good attention. So it just bolsters my confidence. I'm gonna show you the second battle with Atlantis. We'll come back and watch other stuff with Gondwana in a minute. So this is on top of his fort, and he had a mage patrolling with some water gems and a water bottle. And I think his thought here is that this would kill this group? Which, no. And because these guys are in guard commander, there's nothing here to cause an HP rout, and then we just come up and murk him. And the nice thing about that was we got a bottle of living water. Swing. That's awesome. It's very awesome. Okay, so now for the Gondwana stuff. We raided here with our vampire. And I was actually kind of worried about this when I saw this, because I was like, oh my god, there's fire elementals. There's a lot of fire elementals. And vampires are weak against fire elementals. That's like one of their things. He's not, and I don't know why he's not, but normally they are. So he kind of gets, he's getting beat around a little bit. But I think he's actually above his base HP, yeah. Now he's getting pushed around a little bit by an air elemental. He's significantly under base HP right now. He just took a big hit, another big hit. He's almost dead. 12 HP. But now I think he's starting to hit these dudes with that are not lifeless, unlike the elementals. And so yeah, he regions up, barely makes it. That was like super close. And then over here we've got a battle with our gnome. Who are apparently extremely good budget thugs you just get from events. Yoink. And we have here the final battle of Yis and Bod. Yis had bounced earlier from a panic spam thing. And anyway, the Morovarks are like, not this time. They do get hit by some shockwaves and things. But in general, it's just kind of a stomping. These guys are taking a long time to die, though. Oh, I guess they did Iron Skin. Yeah. These guys are actually pretty goddamn tough. Look at them. I don't think I realized that. You know, it's interesting. I wonder if the player might have been able to survive here. What is this thing? A Neowalder? He's ethereal. Yus has given him his bless, which gives him all this. He's got the Throne of Fire, so he's a ridiculous amount of attack skill. A ridiculous amount. Yeah, MR3. Yeah, the larger is pretty good on him. I guess the chassis comes with regeneration. But yeah, these guys are kind of badass. Holy shit. We need to look up and see how much they cost. Let's see what else this is using. They've got... this lady, nothing to see here. These are unkitted. Okay, they're all unkitted. Some swans to do air elementals. Yeah. Nothing here super crazy. A dead celestial fox. And yeah, that's the final battle of Bod. AI Bod. Tapping out. And we have a battle here at the Bozmos Fortress, which this is the final stand of whatchamacallit, of Sawaki. And we can see lightning bolts coming out already, and they're just shooting all the way from way back there. And yeah, big steel armor does not protect you against lightning bolts, nor does body ethereal. Luck does, but we didn't do that because I was more worried about air elemental spam. So having a few guys with body ethereal I thought would be a better call. Importantly, this Bane, one thing I don't know if I talked about it, but it's one thing I did. I want to show it to you. We've got these guys blocked in here, so he can't get out, which means he's going to sit here and get buffed. So he got targeted by body ethereal the first round. Hopefully he gets hit by Legions of Steel too. No, he's probably not. But yeah, if he mass air elemental spammed me, I think I would have lost this fight. But I don't think he had it. I think I only had Conjuration 3. Or maybe 4. I can't remember what Call the Wild is, but the nice thing about Body Ethereal is, and having it on some of my dudes, is they can walk up walls. So once these archers die on the walls, they'll just walk through them, and it kind of is going to ignore a good bit of this choke point. And this guy's going absolutely ham. I mean, he's 19 attack and then 230 damage, 230 damage, 19 attacks. And he's quickened, so he's doing these twice around. So he's very angry. And he's not really killing most of these guys, but he is making his way towards the back ranks. These guys have now broken. Amps are coming in, distracting them. The majors are mostly dead. And so passes the peaceful canoe-rowing people of Sawaki. May he row his boat in the great beyond. And if we look down here, row my canoe gently over your dreams, goddess of Sawaki, has been permanently defeated. Permanently vanquished. So that's that. We have a bunch of events. They're probably all bad. Yep, they're pretty bad. We had this one, which is kind of funny. One of our Astral 1 mages got sucked into the void. He gained a bunch of water magic and 1 path in Astral, which is nice, but the odds of us getting him back, ooh, very small. Very, very small. And then a bunch of patrolling stuff. So that's what happened this turn. Now, what are we going to do? Well, we have some interesting developments. We'll start with the Atlantis stuff. The first interesting development is we see this army, which is mostly Deep Ones, Spearmen, Warriors of the Deep, and Mages of the Deep. And I don't know how many mages this is, but presumably, let's say this can make like 10 water elementals. That would kill this army, and it would maybe even kill that army plus this army. And I don't really want to force a fight. I would rather have a favorable fight where I know what's going to happen, where I can gym bait and stuff, than take a fair fight. So what we're going to do is we're going to pillage right here, and we're going to be moving in this squad, and I'm pretty confident about this move. I think this is the right move. The only thing I don't love about this move is I'm worried I'm going to destroy all the population in one go, and there's not going to be any supplies left to feed my army. And for that reason, we're not moving these guys who are taking a fair amount of supplies. We're not going to move them here. I'm either going to keep them still or I'm going to move them here. The problem with these guys is they don't have any of the support that these guys have with, like, Triton's Grace, this spell, Primal Power, or this spell, Charm of the Crescent Moon. So they have none of that support. So they're really not very useful. If anything, they're going to be kind of more likely just to make my army run. But then the other problem I'm having is I'm feeling like this army... So I'm sending this dude underwater. He's got a manual of water breathing. I'm sending him underwater, but I don't feel very confident about this group making combat with... Like, if he sent this army here, we've got a PD dump, so we've got about 60 of these dudes. They're kind of going to get mulched, though. I'm, like, really not confident about this. And I just don't know. I feel like this is not the right move. But I have to see, and I don't know where he's going to go. The thing is, though, is I expect this is not the move he'll probably take. So if I have an okay trade, if it's not like completely horrible, even if I lose this, if he sends these dudes here, it might be okay, because I think this is such a low probability move for him to send this army, that it's probably fine. And we can just sit here and pillage this, which is what I'm going to have this guy do. And we're going to pillage this, burn it to the ground. The other thing is our Bane Venom Charms, while we're on the topic of salt. We have one now on top of Old Oceania. And one thing I didn't know, but it came up in the Discord chat today, is that Reaper... So these guys are Reaper 5 from the Bane Venom Charm. It used to be this would kill 5% of the population a turn. Well, they nerfed it so that now it does half of your Reaper value to the population a turn. I'm going to do 2.5, which is significant, but it's not crazy. It's really only going to be worth it for me to keep this in population centers and on places where he's got an army, because we're going to be diseasing it. But we've got another guy here. He's making his way down. We've got this guy here. He's going to be making his way down. And yeah, we're just going to put these wherever he puts... If he puts an army on top of an enemy fort, we're going to Bane Venom Charm it. I don't even care if it's Rotterlands. And then we're going to... Yeah, otherwise, we're just going to do it in what we consider to be population centers. I might even try to send one down to where Atlantis started, which is down here. We'll see. I have to be a little cautious. I may do it... Like, maybe I do one with, like, super crazy stealth gear. Like, I put something in this slot, and I think there's shoes that give you stealth, and get it up to, like, 140 or something, and stick that. That might be kind of fun. So we may do that and get, like, a super high stealth one and send them down. If I do that, I kind of also want to have, like, one of these dudes come with them, just to prevent Mind Hunt, because I'm going to have so much gear invested on the other dude. So we'll see. But anyway, that is happening. We're going to burn this shit to the ground. I'm making more. We've got this guy flying in here too, so he's gonna... We're doing a little switcheroo. This guy, who was not really a good candidate for, he had... For him, it cost gems to do Legions of Steel. He's going to be piecing out. You know what I actually may be able to do? He may be able to get out in one turn. Okay, he can get out in one turn. Perfect. So anyway, he's going to piece out. And that's going to do two things. It's going to get these Boots of the Messenger where they're kind of wasted right here. And he's going to go back and do something useful with his life rather than walk around underwater where he can't really do much. So anyway, he's out of here, but we're bringing in an Earth 2. And the Earth 2 is going to do a much better job at doing Legions of Steel, etc. We're having to bring him in with flying boots, which is a little annoying. But this is the world we live in. And we're going to be pillaging here, I think, with everybody. So this will, I don't know. This is going to just decimate the population. And good riddance. Gotta make a statement. And we promised we would do this. If we got blocked from doing what we promised, we would be made a liar. And we can't have that happen. We can't have that happen. And I've changed the script up on her a little because we don't have as many gems, so we're just doing water elemental once and then quickness. And that should be fine. I think we're still making Zweihanders here, which is okay. I'm trying to think what else we have for news. I don't think there's too much. We're doing Reaping of Souls again. I think before we did it here on this blood hunting province, we're going to do it here on this blood hunting province. And yeah, we're probably just going to be casting that for the rest of the game. On the Gondwana front, we've been doing a pretty good job raiding. We found a canyon of sand here, which is much welcome. We don't really have very good earth income, so that was a pretty big improvement. 2 earth gems. And we're going to go ahead and lock this fort down with this vampire, and he's got a pretty good chance, I think, of doing it. We're going to go ahead and hit this with these 2 dudes. Trogs hit really hard. They're not going to trample, so it's not going to be armor piercing damage because I think they're size 3. Though I could be wrong. We can check that real quick. Trogs are size... Ooh, they're size 4. I actually might have to test this. I don't know how this guy's going to do. Because trampling is untyped damage, so Temper Flesh isn't going to help. So I think we're actually going to do Temper Armor first. Temper Flesh. Attack closest. I think this might work. And I think you have to run. I don't know if this will work or not. It depends probably how many there are. If it's 10 trogs, we kill pretty quickly. Like, I think it will work. But I'm also not really sure. I know with Ethereal, he would definitely die. With Ethereal, it makes him 4 times better. I think he'll make it. We're going to roll the dice. I don't think I'm going to test it. So we'll take this. I'm also Magic Phase attacking this. What I found is Calum, ever since we did those first few Magic Phase attacks where he had non-mage supported armies, he's kind of stopped doing that. So we're going to go ahead and just use these guys for raiding up here where it's safe. And we're going to Magic Phase Arthur Von Dirksen. We're going to Magic Phase him over here on top of this province. And with that, we will have taken all this stuff. Now, Calum has a couple forts up here. And we are going to make our way, as soon as we take Gondwana, we're going to make our way over and take them. And we'll probably try to lock them down ahead of time of that. Kailasa has informed me they are fine with me taking all of Calum's stuff up here. They don't really want to border with Vanheim. And this is basically going to lock me into a war with Vanheim if I take this stuff. But the good news is that I've been talking with late age or middle-aged Abyssia, whoever's up here. There's an Abyssia over here. I've been talking with them, off and on for most of the game. And the reason is because they are, in my opinion, the natural first target of, or not first, because they've already eaten Arco, but they're a natural target of Vanheim. And the reason is because I'm too big, and nobody else is really going to fight me, I don't think, for Vanheim to want to go after me. And I was pretty confident they were going to go after Abyssia. So anyway, I was telling Abyssia they need to get ready. But I was also telling them, I don't know where you're planning on expanding, but we can divide up Vanheim and have long-term peace. Like, you can have this part of the top, and then as long as that's your whole ambition on this planet, that's totally cool with me, and I'll take, this stuff on the bottom. And they said, cool, that's going to be their plan. So anyway, they've been preparing for this, and they're about ready, and they're asking me, hey, dude, are you ready? And I'm like, shit, I'm not quite ready yet. Because I got to take Gondwana, I got to take a few of these forts, I need to get some more troops over here. We're ready to defend against Vanheim. We have a fair amount of stuff positioned, just generally over here. But I don't think we have enough. So, anyway, we're doing our best, guys. We're doing our best. We're going to try... I think we do have to... I hate fighting Vanheim because they've just killed Relay. They've destroyed they've taken their fort. There's a couple more Relayan forts down here on this coast, but they're going to have basically all of this. And it's probably going to take them about, 5 or 6 more turns to finish this up. And after that, they're probably going to declare war on me or Abyssia, is my guess. But we should be ready. And I think the Kalos is just eating the crap out of Kalem. I need to talk to Jotunheim and see how much Jotunheim's able to get and whether he thinks he's going to be able to secure himself a solid place. We also see Rotterdam being attacked over here. Oh, and this fort's cracked. Oh, this is an ambitious place to have a fort. And this is a committed army. This is like an army full of sacreds. Where can these guys come to? They could potentially come over here. Yeah, this port system is going to be annoying. So anyway, I think if the other thing we really have to prepare for is if Rotterdam starts falling, we need to be ready to take most all of his stuff. And I think I'm going to want... I mean, I'm open to negotiation, right? But it's going to be most of the land, probably. And I'll be okay with Atlantis having a few islands in the underwater. But right now, Atlantis is just disrespecting us. And they don't value me as a player. I mean, they just don't think I can do shit. And we have to show them that they're wrong. And furthermore, we have to show them that we're going to make their life living hell if they don't seek peace with us. And perhaps most importantly, guys, and I've saved this part towards the end, is we're one turn away from construction 8, which means we can start getting some of the super ass broken artifacts. The first one we're going to get is the Iraq amulet, if we can. And that is because that is one of, in my opinion, the most abusable ones, because we can turn that for 30 death gems, which is the cost of twice borning. We can turn that into basically an unlimited number of high nature death earth mages. So that's phenomenal. That's great news for us. Yeah, so we want to get that. I think next up will probably be the Tomb of High Power. The other good news, and I didn't mention this, but I should have, because it's all connected to the artifact thing, is we finally got the Bloodcraft. The Bloodhaft. And, yeah, this guy's a huge badass. We're going ahead, first thing we do with him is empower him in death. And that's so that he can use the National Alm spell and basically Cloud Trapeze. The other thing we're doing, and I really needed him this turn. This is like the last turn I could get him without having to think about doing a Blood Empower, is we're forging a Bloodthorn. And what this means is turn after this, we can make a Bloodstone. And what a Bloodstone means is I can potentially, on an Earth 4, be up to... I can get up to Earth 4 with an Earth 2 mage, with Earth Boots and a Bloodstone. That is not enough to make the Cornerstone. I still need to get Earth 5. And for that, I'm going to need like the Gem of Creation, which means I may also... Or a Troll Skin suit or whatever it's called. So... we'll find our way there. Next turn, we'll know what artifacts have been forged. We're going to take a general perusal and see how many artifacts have been forged, if we can, like if they're getting burnt off quickly. It'll give us a sense of how many turns we're going to have to get our pick of the crop. If we have any at all. It could be, because we're like 8th in research, guys. And that's with 2,500 RP a turn on turn 44. We're like 8th. All right, so we did take drain scales. So, anyway, we will know next turn what all we can forge. But the plan is the Arak amulet first. Then we're going to make our way for the the Cornerstone. And after the Cornerstone, things that I'm going to want are going to be like. And they'll be kind of hard, but maybe like the Horror Harmonica, and maybe the Shard of... Oh, I forget what it is. The one that gives me the white mage dude who you can call back with a little artifact. He's pretty cool, but nowhere near as good as the Iraq amulet, because this is the only guy you can cheese with Twiceborn. The other guy you can't, because I think he's already dead. So yeah, things are going pretty good. Income is climbing up. Some things we need to do we're not doing. I want to get this thing upgraded, but I'm a little too poor, and I really need troops right now. We've started to get the unrest down in our capital, which was nice. We got a shit ton of unrest from blood hunting. So anyway, we're still blood hunting because I need corpses here for my god. So long as he's sitting in my capital, we're going to sacrifice a bit of income so that we have corpses to keep feeding him. And yeah, we actually have a ton of dudes. The other thing that's interesting in the happenings of the world is that on this planet here, there's Therados that's in the lake system. There's Mictlan, which is like this part, I think. There's Niflheim, which is like this part. And then Marignon's like this part. So it's an interesting little state. Agartha has been attacking. And I think Agartha attacked in through this direction, like that way. And I don't... Like, I guess they attacked through here. Which is kind of fitting and cool, because there's like this huge crack you can imagine Agarthans crawling out of. But they've gotten crushed. Absolutely crushed by Niflheim. One thing I'm thinking is I might take this, form this up into a proper army, which I don't actually need much. I think all I need... I think the spells I would need to conquer Agartha, I already am pretty close to having. Like, I think I would just need Temper Army, and then maybe, like, Weapons of Sharpness, and then we just go kill them all. And I think that backed up with... I mean, I don't really think I need much else. I mean, he could have some things like Darkness that would kind of fuck me. I mean, he could have a bunch of different things, but... I think we just walk over here and kill him. Take over this moon. And I think I've gotten the unrest down here enough that I think it's actually probably worth moving over this way. I think this game, fortune favors the bold. I think it favors the bold. So I think we're going to look at making some place. I'm going to make, I think one thing I need to put in production. I'm making a Starshine Skullcap because I sold mine the other turn. I need a Crystal Matrix. Okay, so we need a Crystal Matrix, and then I need to get an Astral Dude over here. We've already got a Fire Dude. And the two of these guys with a bunch of these guys is Communion Slaves. Ooh, I've got this lady, too. We could do some nature stuff. I don't think there's anything here in nature for us. No, not really. Yeah, this is really risky. Going into war this late in the game without having major buffs, and like just marching an army out. I think what I will also need as part of this to shore this up from different threats is what I'll do next turn is I'm going to make a Banelord, and we'll put him with this army. And I think a Banelord plus this army, because he'll be basically just murdering everything. I think a Banelord in this army will probably be able to just walk over here and conquer Agartha. The other thing I need to think about, too, is maybe like a little bit more vampire support. I don't know. This is a stretch, but Agartha's just so weak, and this is such a good opportunity to get this moon base that I think it would be really nice. It would be really nice. And I think they've kind of fucked themselves. Like, if they're this small and they've expended themselves attacking into these dudes, I think they're in trouble. And if they're using things like Hoburg crossbows, that's not going to be enough. Not when we have the shit that we have. I don't think so. I mean, maybe we need fire resistance, which we could get reasonably easily, but I'd have to make a run of enchantment. I wanted to go kind of high in blood and go ahead and get Blood Vortex down at a decent timing, or get my blood spells. But I do want Alt 6, because that's going to mean all my vampires can do Soul Vortex. So I think this is kind of the right priorities. This is for to give me anti-magic, because you just need that this time in the game. And then Soul Vortex, and then, I mean, we're going to get other things like Darkness and stuff we could put up if we want to. And then Blood Magic. I think that is the right priority path for me. But, like, it's a greedy priority path. It's, like, very greedy. If I was not being greedy, I would go after, like, Alt 7, so I could do Fog Warriors and Mass Protection, you know, stuff like that. But we're being super duper greedy. So we'll have to figure it out. The other thing is I finally started recruiting, and it's a shame I haven't done it until now, but I finally started recruiting where's my recruitment button? These enchanters. So they'll be able to, I should have one probably in time to roll out with this army if we do indeed decide to roll up this way. And just having one roll out with them will be kind of nice. I can do, you know, like I'll have Alt 5, so I can do Wooden Warriors and stuff if I want to. I don't know. And maybe I need I don't think I need Serpent's Blessing, but I don't know. We can do things, guys. That's what I'm saying. We can do things. So, at any rate, hope you guys are enjoying the series. I know it's a kind of short episode. Oh, no, it wasn't. Oh my God, it was 45 minutes. I feel like I just covered what was happening. I didn't even really get to talk. I don't even think I got to go down too many different rabbit trails. But yeah, that's basically what's happening. We're probably going to attack the moon. We're going to just finish getting all this stuff. I mean, guys, there's so much happening. We're probably going to have to vulture Rotterdam. I don't want to. And by the way, if Rotterdam makes a full comeback and get their capital back, we probably won't vulture them. We'll probably let them fight, and like maybe they get their fair share of the Kalem stuff, and then we fight them later. Because I don't have a ton of stuff over here to even do the vulturing. But I have a feeling like I'm going to need to. Because even if, like, for Rotterdam to survive, he has to survive Kalem, which it's looking like he might. But he also has to survive Atlantis, which we'll have to see. It's going to be really hard for Atlantis to take his forts, because he can do Skelly spam inside. We were kind of talking about that. He and I. But, you know, making it hard to take your forts does not win you a war. I mean, it's a valuable component. It's going to be, like, on one hand, he's much weaker against Kalem. I think he's much more equipped to fight Atlantis than he is to fight Kalem. Because, like, this army that we smacked here with birds, that was full of birds and air elementals, like, he has nothing to say against that. I think he's getting Foul Vapors this turn, too. So that's going to be way helpful against Atlantis, too. But he's not set up to fight the birds. But he can fight Atlantis. But I don't know if he can win the raiding war against Atlantis. Like, just being able to hold his forts may not be enough. So we're going to be preparing to vulture if we need to, but we're also going to be content to have a long peace with him, and let him carve out his chunk. One thing, okay, we'll talk about it next time, but the geopolitics, too, I'll just mention this briefly, is that due to the number of ways off the planet, there's one way off here, there's one way off here, there's one way off, yeah, it's one of these islands, here. I don't think you can get off through Japan or any of the water. Like, I think there's only 3 ways off the planet. Here's the thing. The number of states that are even really capable of coexisting peacefully on the planet are limited to the number of exits. And furthermore, it's limited to the number of exits you control. So I think in reality, Atlantis would have to, like, the only way to have peace long-term with Atlantis would be either he's busy eating another land nation, he's wanting to come over here and get this and then get off the planet and go this way, or he wants to come over here and get to my star and get off the planet this way. I don't think... Yeah, there's this. I don't think any of these things connect to our world. We have, like, a super isolated world. Yeah. So this is something we have to consider is, like, if Kirby owns this, and if I own both of these, then really the thing is, and I have to be careful about how I share this, because I don't want people to be thinking too much about the future. Which some of it, I mean, look, when you play Dominions, like, the ultimate future is there's only one person who's going to win, right? And that person may not be on this planet. Probably isn't on this planet. But like, you just take one thing at a time in a way, right? So we're taking this war with Calum right now. We're taking the war with Gondwana, taking the war with Atlantis. We're just doing one thing at a, like one turn at a time. But I think it's important to think about the late, like how these things can play out, and like how we have the option to maybe be more greedy, right? And go off planet. Like we can go over here and try to take over a moon. Great. What we need to consider, though, is the position that puts other people in our planet on, which is that, okay, sure, we can do that, but they can't, which means they have to fight for more of the planet stuff. So as long as there's other wars for them to fight that aren't me, maybe that's a sustainable system where, like, maybe there can be 3 or 4 players on here, but that's never going to be peaceful because the 3 or 4, some of them are going to have to be fighting. It doesn't mean I have to be fighting, but it can't be a stable system. Once we get it down to just 2, like let's say we say fuck underwater and we cut the planet in half this way, right? And this side is Kalas's and this side is mine. Like that could be a stable system because we just say, look, this is going to be a horrendous war to fight. Let's not do it. Let's wait. And then we'll go over here and, let's conquer other worlds rather than fight each other. Like that would be a stable long-term peace that may exist. But that sort of thing cannot exist without having other exits for enough planets. I mean, enough exits for other nations to get off the planet. So I don't know how much my depopulate the sea thing is going to work, because ultimately Atlantis is going to have to get access to this, or to this, or to this. And honestly, this is the worst one. This is maybe the best one. But I think he has to kind of make his way up here. So we really have to think how we're going to fight Atlantis. And it may be my current research is too greedy. One thing that will help almost more than anything else, well, I don't know. Like, Fog Warriors is really, really good against water elementals. The problem with Fog Warriors... The problem with Fog Warriors is he has a lot of magic weapons on Atlantis itself, just not on water elementals. I don't know. I think ultimately if Atlantis is going to stay, if we can't kick Atlantis out, like maybe it would even be good if Rotterdam can push Atlantis back and like even conquer Atlantis. I feel like he would be easier to conquer. Like Atlantis has a few spells like drown water air breathers or stuff, something like that, which kind of wrecks you if you're not naturally amphibious like we are. So, yeah, maybe Rotterdam wants to kill them, and then once he's killed them, then we can deal with Rotterdam later or something like that. Because, I mean, ultimately, I think there can only be two. I think really we're in a 2-system planet, a 2-state system. But, I mean, thinking about it this way means this conflict with Atlantis is going to be harder, and I really don't want him to deal with it. So, and by the way, this planet is super favored for the underwater nation. So I think if we get to some quasi-stable state, like maybe I've conquered all this, I'm not fighting Vanheim yet. Vanheim has already done his job kicking the shit out of Relay. I know there's fighting down here between Atlantis and Jotunheim and stuff. I'm going to kick the shit out of Atlantis up here if I can, God willing. And then once we've done that, maybe we stop the land wars a little bit just to kick the shit out of the ocean. And then we resume on the land war stuff. And that'll be fine until somebody decides they want to have a land war. And then a lot of that's going to get knocked out of balance. So I don't know. That's one way to do it. Final thing before we close is with Sawaki finally passing. We now... all the Sawaki Dominion is gone, which is so wonderful. And what that means is that our Dominion will percolate into this throne. The second it percolates into that throne, we are going to magic phase our god in and wipe it out. Ideally, I will have Alt 6 by then, which is not going to take very long. Like, we're going to be at Alt 6 in probably 3 turns. And my Dominion will probably be in here in like two or three turns. So it'll be about the same time. And then, you know, Invulnerability, Soul Vortex, the works. We should wreck these guys. It'll be beautiful. And, yeah, I think that's it. My worries in the game right now are... Oh, the final thing is we're moving out on this front here. We're doing light raiding. I thought about taking this army and marching it over here to this Kalem fort. Problem is, Kalem's capital is right here. So, first of all, this fort... I don't know if it's directly in range, because this isn't like this is an enemy flag, and Kalem a lot of times can only map move 3 in pure friendly. But, God, they could move kind of far. We could potentially just get trounced by a shit ton of Eagle Kings. I feel like... if he does a shit ton of air elementals, he'll murder this army. But if he puts a shit ton... he has to be really careful about moving stuff out on the map where I can magic phase on them. So I think we're going to do lower commitment raiding. We've got, coming in here, a vampire with this guy to do body ethereal on him to fight all these Bone Tribe. Coming in here, we've got the Wraith Lord and then somebody else to do body ethereal. The reason they're not on top of each other is because he's going to run forward, and by the time he gets close, this guy will probably be casting body ethereal on him. And I think we're magic phasing another... No, I don't think we're magic phasing this, but we're attacking Kalem stuff. But I need to be... on one hand, I want to put pressure on this. On the other hand, I kind of don't. I feel like I don't want to eat a shit ton of air elementals, and I don't have anybody here with magic weapons. If I had this army that has these dudes, like if I had this many of my Ghoul Guardians in that army, I would feel much better about it, because these guys actually murder air elementals. If I get body ethereal on them, like I could make a bunch of astral mages, put them here, get body ethereal on them, and then they would just chop air elementals to pieces. But I don't think that's... I mean, we don't have... I think we have to just kind of chill for a second. And we have to just kind of chill. But I think the big opportunities for me, getting this moon, getting the rest of Gondwana, we're burning the ocean, that's out of salt and spite. Not really, it's good play, but I mean, we're salting the earth. I need to be thinking about a war with Vanheim. I think I am going to commit to that. I need more troops, though. One thing I might do is I have the possibility to make just a shit ton of mages every turn. I may shift focus and reprioritize troops if I'm going to go to war with Vanheim. And that will need... Like, we're already making some troops. Not here. I think we're making them here. Yeah. It's like, I should be making troops in all these forts, and we just get ready to go to town. There's other cool artifacts I can make, too, once I get some of these boosters. Like, if I get the Tomb of High Power and I get the Air Booster, I can make the Moon Bowl, which gives me glamour on all my units in combat. Be really good against Vanheim. So... I don't know. There's a bunch of... I think we can just walk over here and kind of kill Vanheim. But it's going to be tricky. And it's going to be a lot easier if Abyssia rolls out. But we're not quite ready, but that's... I think the opportunities for us are this and this. And then vulturing these guys as an option if they start falling. But, yeah. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.